My algebra class, let's go ahead and get ready for, well, actually, let's get working on our homework. Giving you 1 through 30 tonight, 1 through 30, so it's 10 less than you usually get. That should hopefully make it a little bit easier. Solve the literal equation for y. We're looking for y. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to work it over here. The answer should be revealed afterwards if I do it correctly, right? So when I'm doing this one, I'm going to, remember, I try to get y on one side, which means I'm going to add 3x to both sides. And that should give me y equals 13 plus 3x. On the next one, when I'm solving it for y, I remember once again, I will get rid of the x. I'll add 18 to both sides, 18x. Once I've done that, I'll have negative 26 plus 18x, and then I got to remember I got to divide, right, by 2. So after I'm done with all that, I'll divide by 2, and I should have negative 26 plus 18x divided by 2. Now, because 2 on the bottom, we have both of these even numbers, I could make this negative 13 plus 9x, because I'm dividing everything by 2. There it is, negative 13 plus 9x. Hopefully everyone understood that. Just remember, because we're dividing by 2, we can just divide 2 by 2 and make 1, then divide 26 by 2 and get 13, and divide 18 by 2 and get 9, right? Let's work number 5 here. Remember, you have all the evens to do tonight. I think I'm going to give myself more room, and I'll just write over here. We got 9x minus y is equal to 45. Remember, we're looking for y, right? So we've already got y by itself. All we have to do is minus 9x. If I do this nice and neat, it would look more like negative y equals 45 minus 9x. Now I need to divide the negative side away. So I'll divide it by negative 1, which means I'll divide this side by negative 1. Y is by itself, and then I'll have a negative 45 plus 9x. Y equals 9x minus 45. Same thing. All they did was switch these around. All right, number 7's next. All right, number 7 is next. I'm going to put it over here. I got 7. Oh, I'm sorry. I was writing. I got 4x minus 5 equals 7 plus 4y. Remember, we're trying to find out what y is every single time. So if they do this one correctly, I should have had to subtract 7 from both sides. Have common, or it's going to be like terms there. It's going to give me 4x minus 12 is equal to 4y. And then I would have to divide 4 away from 4y. Y is isolated, but because all these are divided by 4, 4 divided by 4 is 1. 12 divided by 4 is 3. So I should get 1x left over minus 3 is equal to y. Let's see how we did. Y equals x minus 3. All right? Let's do number 9 now. I'm just going to work right underneath the number 9 since I got a little room here. Remember, I'm trying to find y. So once again, I'm going to try to get everything to the other side. I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides. This gives me 1/6y equals 3x plus 2, because 4 minus 2 is 2. Next, the opposite of dividing by 6, and that's what's happening here, is multiplying by 6. Okay, I'm multiplying by the inverse, which means I'll multiply this side by 6. And now, I guess it's better to put it like this so you know what's being multiplied. I'm distributing this 6 everywhere. So now I'm just going to have y by itself. 6 times 3 is 18, so that should be 18x. And 6 times 2 is 12, so that should be plus 12. Let's see how we did. Y equals 18x plus 12. All right, you had 2 through 10. Let's keep going. All right, number 11. Let's go to work that one. Should be pretty easy. This time we're isolating x. We isolate x, we realize we have 4 plus 8 in front of it. So we can split this up and rewrite it. Say that we have y equals x, right, times 4 plus 8. That's just another expression, right? X times 4 is 4x, x plus 8 is 8x. So then we're just going to divide 4 plus 8 away. Which means I would divide it from this side. I'm thinking I should get x equals y over 4 plus 8. I can combine 4 plus 8, right? That's 12. So can I just say y over 12 equals x? All right. So this is the same thing. 1 over 12y is the same as multiplying 1 to y, and that would be y over 12. All right. Let's go to number 13. We're still isolating for x. F A equals 2x plus 6xz. Once again, we can just rewrite this, right? Remember, we just want the x. So we could say that we have 2, let's see here, 2, let's see, plus 6. Well, I guess we have x on the outside, excuse me. And we could say this was 2 plus 6z, right? Because x, when it gets multiplied to 2, would be 2x. And x, when it gets multiplied to 6z, it will be 6xz. So now that I've changed it, I can divide 2 plus 6z away, which means I'll divide it from the other side. All right, can't combine those unlike terms, so that should be the way I have to keep it. A over 2 plus 6z. All right, let's try number 15. Y equals 4x plus rx plus 6. I'm going to try to do this one over here just to see if I can save you room. Remember, we want x to be removed, but this time I can't really remove it from the whole thing because we have 6 over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 6 first. And I'll subtract it from this side. That's going to give me y minus 6. That's going to be equal to 4x plus rx. Now I'm going to factor out the x's. This is the same as saying x times 4 plus r. Now it's going to be equal to y minus 6. Then I'm going to simply divide the 4 plus r away, which means I have to divide it from this side. I should end up with y minus 6 over 4 plus r equals x. Y minus 6 divided by 4 plus r. All right. Let's go to number 17. I want to get x by itself, so I can simply make this x times s plus t equals r. We know this because x times s is sx, and x times t is tx. Now I'll divide s plus t away, which means I divide it from the other side. Our answer should be r divided by s plus t. All right, let's try number 19. Oh, sorry about that, I had to blow my nose. All right, again, we're trying to get x by itself. I can't go ahead and factor out x from 12. So I'm going to subtract 12 from both sides. Leaving me with negative 5x minus 4kx equals y minus 12. Okay, next I'm going to factor out my x. I know x times negative 5 will give me negative 5x. X times negative 4k will give me a negative 4kx. Everything's equal to y minus 12. I'm going to divide negative 5 minus 4k away, leaving me with x, which means I have to divide negative 5 minus 4k from this side. My answer should be x equals y minus 12 divided by negative 5 minus 4k. Y minus 12 divided by negative 5 minus 4k. Sorry, I used up so much room there. I'll try to be nice here and take that away so that's more easily seen. All right, let's go to number 21. 21 says the total cost, C, in dollars to participate in a ski club is given. All right, they gave us the equation. C equals 85x plus 60, where x is the number of ski trips that you can take. They want us to solve for x. How many ski trips did you take if you spent this much money or this much money? Let's go ahead first and solve for x. When I take C plus 85x plus 60, I remember that I can subtract 60 from both sides. All right, I need to get rid of that number that doesn't have a coefficient or isn't multiplying. Now I have C minus 60 equals 85x. I'll divide 85 away, and that means that x has to equal C minus 60 divided by 85. The rewritten literal equation is x equals C minus 60 divided by 85. Now, remember, it says what we do if you spent a total of 312. Remember what x is. C in dollars to participate in the ski club is given, where x is the number of ski trips. So we're not going to replace x with 315. We're going to replace C with it. C is now 315, and then we're subtracting the 60 and dividing by 85. 315 minus 60 is 255. 255 divided by 85 is 3. So you'll be able to take 3 trips. Remember, x is the number of ski trips you can take. Now, if C was 485, you would subtract 60, and that would give you 425 divided by 85, and that's 5. it will cost $315 to take 3 ski trips and $485 to take 5 ski trips. All right, let's go ahead and go to number 23. All right, number 23 says in exercise 23 and 24, describe and correct the error in solving for the equation for x. All right, let's correct this error. What we see here is the person decided to go ahead and subtract 12 from this side, subtracting 12 from this side. Then they decided they were going to divide everything by 2 on this side, right? And they needed to, because, let's see, they divided by -2, I should say, right? And so they felt they could divide by -2 on this side. And they feel that would give them y minus x equals 6, right? All right, the equation still has an x term on each side. Does everyone notice we never got the x over here out of there? So we will go ahead, first of all, we're going to divide y minus x. And we're going to make this -2y, right, which is -2y, and then positive 2x. We changed it by distributing properties first on the side. Once we did that, we needed to isolate for x. So we're going to add 2x to this side, excuse me, this side. You see they have -2x, they added 2x to it. And then whatever they add to one side, they do to the other, right? I know that might look a little funny, you know, all they did was really add 2x, right? And then they did it to both sides. And then you have 2x plus 2x, that makes 4x, right? And everything else stayed the same. Next, remember, we're looking for x, so we need to get rid of that -2y. So the opposite of -2y is positive 2y. Whatever I add to one side, I add to the other. And now I have 12 plus 2y equals -4, or excuse me, 4x. Now I need to get 4 away from x. I'll divide by 4 to get x isolated, which means I need to divide this entire side by 4. When I do that, I realize all these numbers are divisible by 2. So I can say that 4 divided by 2 is 2. 12 divided by 2 is 6. And 2 divided by 2 is 1. Now, I could do that, or I could go a step farther, and that's what they did. What they decided to do, they were going to divide everything by 4. All right? And that's perfectly fine. They're leaving fractions in their problem that are not wrong with it. So when I divide 4 by 4, that's 1, right? That gets rid of my denominator. 12 divided by 4 is 3, right? 1/2 divided by 4, well, that's 2 divided by 4, and that's 1/2. So you got 1/2 y equals x, all right? You have 24 to do. I'm going to do 25. So solve the formula for the indicated variable. If I solve this formula, I realize I'm looking for c, which means all I have to do is bring c, let's see, I need to bring r over there, right? So if I'm solving for c, this is a couple ways I can do this. P equals r minus c, right? So I could go ahead and subtract r from both sides, leaving me with p minus r is equal to -c, and then I would divide -1 away, which would turn all this opposite, and then I would have -p plus r is equal to c. Let's see how I did. C equals r, that's what we have here, minus p. And whether I have -p plus r or r minus p, it's the same thing. All right? All they did was turn the equation around, or the formula around, I should say. All right, 26 is for you to do, 27 is mine. Now this time I'm trying to find out what B2 is, all right? We know that A equals 1/2 H, B1 plus B2. To do this, I'm going to go ahead and say, first of all, I can multiply by 2H on each side, right? Let me write this out so it's a little more legible. Now I'm just going to check and see if they actually provide the answer, or if they show the work, and that way I don't have to do it. Let's see. Okay, so they gave the answer. That's not good enough for us. We want to know how it's done, so let's go ahead and write this out. I've got A is equal to 1/2 H times B1 plus B2. Okay? All right, so first of all, we're going to multiply by 2, all right, on each side to get rid of that 1/2. Now this is gone. That's going to leave me with 2A is equal to H times B1 plus B2. Next, we're going to divide H away. That's how I got 2A divided by H equals B1 plus B2. Next, we're going to subtract B1 away. And whatever I subtract from one side, I do the other. As you can see, B2 is left all by itself. And we have 2A divided by H minus B on this side. And there we go. B2 equals 2A divided by H minus B. All right, 28 was for you to do. I got 29, and that's the last one because we're only going to 30 now. A common statistic used in professional football is the quarterback ranking. This ranking is made up of 4 major factors. One factor is the completion rating given by the formula, where C is the number of completed passes and A is the number of attempted passes. Solve the formula for C. Well, we start the formula. Remember, we're multiplying by 5 over here, so I'm going to divide 5 away. Whatever I divide from one side, I do to the other. That's going to leave me R divided by 5 equals CA minus 0.3. Remember, I want to get C by itself, so I'm going to add 0.3 to both sides so I can isolate this term. Whatever I add to one side, I do the other. So now I have R divided by 5 plus 0.3 equals C over A. I'm dividing by A, so to get rid of it, I can multiply by A. Whatever I multiply to one side, I do to the other. Now I have A times R divided by 5 plus 0.3. That equals C. So when we write the formula, when we write it for, rewrite it for C, we are just putting this term on this side and C on this side. We do not change anything negative or positive. All right, the rest was for you to do. Hope you had a good night, and I'll see you in class for grade.